from fighting for genocide recognition to exposing state-backed cultural erasure. Your courage has come, it was impressive as we were researching more about your work, at a personal cost. This is very clear: legal threats, political exclusion, public attacks. Today, you are a visiting scholar at the Carnegie Endowment and you continue your advocacy with clarity, strategy, and international impact. This is very clear as we go deeper into your work. You were the first MP, Mr. Paylan, to submit a bill recognizing the Armenian genocide. In a country when even the word is a taboo, historically we know that, what did that moment mean to you, personally, but also politically?
You know, Armenians have been trying to convince the world that there was a genocide happening in 1915 in Turkey, all over the world. But that crime happened in Turkey, and we have to find a solution in Turkey. That was my motivation. So that's why I proposed a bill to the Turkish parliament, saying that the only parliament needs to talk about the Armenian genocide is the Turkish parliament, because tens of parliaments have said that yes, there was a genocide, but that didn't heal our wound. The only parliament which can heal the wounds of all the Armenians all over the world is the Turkish parliament. That was my motivation, but we felt the headwinds going on in Turkey. Turkey was not a democracy, but there were some progress in Turkey between 1995 to 2015. But for the last decade, again, we are still feeling the headwinds. So I was, of course, lynched. There were legal persecutions and so many things. But still, now Turkish people at least know that something bad has happened, but they are not ready to recognize it, that there was a genocide.
What is it that gave you strength in the middle of the challenges you were facing at the time and still?
Of course, my friends, the millions of Turkish and Kurdish Democrats gave me that courage. Armenians are only 50, there are 50,000 Armenians and 1,000 Greeks living in Turkey. Of course, there is a fear factor. They are silent. I had the courage to speak with the millions of Kurds and Turks endorsement, of course. That has motivated me. Millions of people, Turks and Kurds, are ready to recognize that there was a genocide. But unfortunately, Turkish state or Turkish parliament or some Turkish politicians are not ready to recognize it yet.
Mm-hmm. And from your parliamentarian role to your international advocacy work and your international role, how do you see in the current international affairs context the repetitive patterns of state denial, cultural destruction, political silencing? This is not evolving in Turkey only and your context. This is becoming a global pattern and mechanism that we see repetitively more and more. Are you able to provide an interpretation to us and some insights in connection to that? What should our audience know?
Yeah, unfortunately, the world have entered the dark era. After the Second World War, the world just recognized that terrible things happened, including the Holocaust. So the civilized world established so many institutions, and unfortunately, especially in the last decade, terrible things are going on, and that there is a huge hypocrisy in the world. We are turning a blind eye on so many human rights violations. So autocrats are emboldened again, and so many human rights violations are happening. It happened in Nagorno-Karabakh, it is happening in Ukraine, and it's happening in Gaza, unfortunately. So because of this hypocrisy, and because people don't have courage to stand up against these kind of human rights violations, all the autocrats are emboldened. So this is the age of shamelessness. So we have to stop it and stand up wherever human rights are violated. So this is the struggle, again, we need to do, this generation. Now, after the Second World War, after 1945, people stood up and said, these are the